Hi, we're going to do a quick screencast to show how to use iBooks on your iPad. As you can see, I have my iPad open to my home screen, and you can see the iBooks icon, app icon, right in the center of the screen. So I'm going to click on that icon. It's going to open up my bookshelf. You can see across the top I have my store, my collections, and then the view, whether I want it to be this shelf view, or if I click over here, it will change it over into a list view, but I'm going to go back to a shelf view here. I can also edit any of my books, meaning I can move them or I can delete them. If I wanted to, I can do the same thing by just pressing on them and then moving them over to a different shelf. Typically, it won't move me over to a new shelf until I have created or I have enough books to go to a second shelf. So what we'll do now is I'm going to click Done here in the upper right hand corner, and that will now bring me back to the other page. Know that the first thing in the upper left hand corner is Store. That will take me to the iTunes Store, and if I click Store, it will load me up here. And I happen to do a search beforehand for Benjamin Franklin. So here in the upper left-hand corner is the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, and it's a free book. So if I click on the free and then get book, it will start to download that book for me. It may ask you to authenticate your iTunes account, but now it's going to put that book on my shelf, and you'll see the blue progress bar across the top. And if I've never opened this book before, it's going to give me the new tag here. If I click on that book, it's going to open that book and let me open, and with a flick I can flick through the pages one by one. Just grab the page and move it over, and you'll see here's a picture of Benjamin Franklin and then the text. If I wanted to save some of this text, I could by just pressing on it with my finger, and it will highlight that word, and then I can highlight that piece of text. Across this bar, it gives me several options. I can copy that text, I can look up a particular word, I can highlight that text, which we'll talk about in just a second. I can make a note about that text, I can search any of the phrase that I have there, or I can share that, meaning I can push it out to email or to another device. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to highlight. So right there with the highlight, I'm going to click on highlight, and you'll see all the different options I have to highlight. Here you'll see that with the highlight I have different colors of highlight, or this last icon, which you can see it's done an underline. So if I click on the yellow, or if I do this again, highlight that word, and then click on the highlight, click this, and then remove that. It should remove here. So if I want to highlight any piece of text, I find the piece of text and I tap on it with my finger. It will then start to highlight that. I then have that text, and I can now, by clicking on highlight that piece of text, and you'll see that I have several options here that I can use to highlight all these different colors. I can also use this as an underline, which you can see it's using right now. If I click on that, it will bring me back out of this. If I want to change that now, I click on that word again and highlight it. It will bring it up again. Click on it again, and I use the crossbar, it will take that out. If I want to do something else with it, like highlight a word again. Come here. You'll notice that by clicking on highlight, I can also add a note here, and I can type in a note. Hello. And have that there. And you'll see in the margin that I have the note there. If I want to get rid of that note, I can click on it and I can select all, or I can delete that note. And now the note's gone. I can also define anything here, but I can also, you see here, I can put a note, and when I highlight, I can also share that highlight out. I can send it out as an email, send it out as a text message, out to Twitter, out to Facebook, or I can copy it and save it out. So let's not do anything like that. Let's just make sure that we have that highlighted right now. Across the top of all iBooks, this will get me back to the library. This will get me back to my collection. So if I click on that, it actually get me back to the, strike back, this will get me back to the table of contents. So there's the table of contents, which is important. I'm going to click back to resume to get us back to where we were. This letter here will change the font and the font size. So you'll see that I can have the choice between a serif and a sans serif font, and then the brightness here. I have a different collection of fonts that I can use and different themes that I can use as well. The hourglass or the magnifying glass here allows me to search, and I can type a word or a page number and we'll search the entire book for that. Or I can use that to place a bookmark on that. I can also navigate to any place in the book by just coming along this line. So if I wanted to get to another place, I could just click here and it would move me along to a different page. In the table of contents, though, I have a few things that are really nice as well. This is the table of contents, but now I have all my bookmarks. I can put in several bookmarks and it will list all the bookmarks. I don't particularly have any bookmarks here, but it would work that way as well. And then I can click in notes, and there are the two separate notes that we had on this. So I could now, in the notes page, click on this and share the book, or I could edit the notes. Right here you'll see that I can edit the notes, and if I click on those, up in the upper left hand side I get a select none, share, or delete. So I can select any of my notes or none of my notes, but if I select one, it gives me that option to share, and when I share, I can email those notes to myself or to anyone else, so I can give them as many notes or as few notes as I want, or highlights that I've had there. I can also come back over here and cancel and then get me back to the main page or the to the table of contents. It will also bring me back to resume to my last place, the last place I was in the book. Thank you.